Hey everyone, welcome back to Return to Monkey Island. I'm DisturbingPuppet. We're trying to make our progress through the last of this section of getting through the bowels of Monkey Island itself, where LeChuck is fighting further down. I picked up some items I used earlier, so we'll see if we can use any of these. Ah, that's what I needed. So we did need that.
It's leaking some kind of oil all over the floor now.
Alright, I think we'll have to do that on all of them. But maybe I could collect the oil? Let's see. Fill the mug. Yeah, we can fill the mug with that. Take a refreshing swig.
I don't think bloodthirsty is meant to be taken literally. At least I hope not.
Alright, we've also got the double monocle. So we got the crackers, the knife, the double monocle, and the mug back. Okay, and the last one's all busted, so I'm not sure what we do here. We'll just try to stab it, because that's what we do.
That didn't seem to do anything.
Okay, so here we'll just pour it in. $14.27. What is $14.27? It's not even saying anything there. 1427. Don't forget 1427.
Wow.
Some numbers. Okay, well, Captain Madison's hat.
So long, Captain Madison. Ugh, this is like one of those mystery stories where the person has so many enemies the detectives don't know where to start.
Can't get it, apparently. So I guess we'll head up. So it definitely needs to be 1427. Okay, that's correct. Inner wheel, outer wheel, I'm not touching that. Okay. These do look correct. Like they match, anyway. But that kind of matches too. I don't know what face we're supposed to be using unless this is a hint. It's gotta be, right? Because it's got three things on top, like that.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Huh. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here.
So long, Captain Madison.
1010, so 1427 is what we need. Can't mess with that. I'm assuming it's gotta be this. It's the only thing I can see. But we cycled through everything. Nothing's changed. So it must not be that. That one, maybe? This one? Could be something that's kind of similar in shape. But nothing's the same for the mouth.
want to close any more possible escape routes.
Yeah, nothing really makes sense here. I guess we'll have to just go through every combination. I know it's 1427, but I think that'd be some other kind of hint. I'm just gonna go through all the combinations. I keep thinking it's done, I suddenly move, but it's just I'm moving. Let me start it. Let's see it. That to start with. Okay. Is there somewhere else I can go? That's the next thing to check. I've already done all of these. That one. Outer one. Okay. So I think I've checked all of them. And it's got to be 1427. Keeps moving. Clicking in the same place, but it's causing me to move sometimes. Yeah, occasionally I have like something pops up there, but yeah, like there. Maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe that's all it is. Okay, at this point I'm 100% sure I've done all the different combinations.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Can I go anywhere else? Is there anything else to do? Anywhere to go?
So long, Captain Madison.
Stone
One of
slab.
the stone slabs from the altar seems to have fallen off during the rumbling. There's some writing on it. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea. After all I've been through, finding some limericks on a piece of stone sinking into the lava isn't all that strange. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
So 4 extra years. So if it was 1427 plus 4 would be 1431. I don't know if that is an option, but I can take a look. Just keeps going. I don't get this at all. So there's no 1431 option. Is there anything else to look at? 1427. I don't know what year it's supposed to be.
So long, Captain Madison. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
3 right, 2 left, 4 years. So 4 times for the years. I'm grasping at straws here.
After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
3 right, 2 left. I don't know what it was originally on, though, was the problem. That was 3 right, 2 left. On the outer part, inner part. Huh. There's gotta be some other hint, because that really doesn't tell me much.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Confused about how to solve this. I've tried every 1427 combination. None of these really match with any of the pictures. There's 2 potential heads that kind of fit. That one potentially. None of the mouths really match this.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Yeah, nothing here really fits as far as the teeth go. I guess just the square there.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
That's really the closest. Although this is also pretty close.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
I'm just gonna go through the years.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes. I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Doesn't seem like... Maybe it'll change from I'm not touching that to something else if it's correct. I'm just trying to match kind of the picture. Yeah, I don't get this at all. Thought we might have something to do with the hat, like getting the hat, but I can't actually reach it. And this little bit really doesn't tell me anything.
One of the stone slabs from the altar seems to have fallen off during the rumbling. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
Huh. Yeah, I'm very, very stumped. Alright, I'm gonna have to take a hint here, I think. Solve the code wheel. Previous passage upstairs for more clues. Okay, so we need some clues upstairs. Oh, there were other pictures and things on the doors. There was the 1427 on the door. That one's got those teeth. And that's got that head. Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the head. I just remember seeing the stairs. Okay. Right. So the outer one, I thought I tried all the combinations though. Is that one, and then that one.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes.
Right? 1427. That one and that one. But it's not doing anything. 1427. The teeth. That's the right head, right? Yeah, that's the right head, that's the right teeth, that's the right ear.
I don't want to close any more possible escape routes. So long, Captain Madison.
So why is that not working?
After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
That really doesn't help me at all. Alright. Yeah. Yes. Use the etchings along with the limerick to solve it. Along with the limerick.
After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea. After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
There is no 4 years, so we'll do 4 times for the year. 4. So that's 4 times, because there is no 4 years.
After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
Three right, 2 left. But the peg legs grew weak in the knees. I don't know what that means.
After 4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
3 right, 2 left. But which way? Three right, 2 left? 3 right, 2 left, I think. I know I'm driving
After
everyone crazy.
4 extra years out at sea, their peg legs grew weak in the knees. 3 steps right, but 2 left, till they fell off the deck, and they met Davy Jones for some tea.
3 right, 2 left. I don't know if it's outer inner. Two left. Hey, alright. Alright, that was a giant pain.
Huh? What?
Hey!
I was just deep in the mushroom and lava-ridden caves under Monkey Island, and now I'm... Oh no. Not yet.
That was the bathroom, it looks like. I think we're in some kind of tourist trap kind of place.
It seems to be stuck closed. Score! Free popcorn. Score! Free popcorn.
Okay.
The windows are just pasted on, and they're not even straight.
Birds aren't real. The
High
rat's not
Street,
real.
20 feet. Hall of Pirates, 3-minute walk. Additional restrooms at Dinky Island.
Glad you finally made it, kid.
What, Stan?
It's closing time and everyone wants to go home.
Last chance to hand over the key, locksmith.
What do you mean it's closing time? I just got here.
Oh, I don't have time for this. I'm late for an important meeting. Take my keys and shut off all the lights before you leave. I'm not liable for anything that happens after closing time.
Guybrush, are you ready to go?
Last chance to hand over the key, locksmith.
Okay. Everyone's fake.
I didn't do anything this time. I was framed.
It's the chest. Back to my boring flooring inspector job.
Dang. Stan makes LeChuck better every time.
The secret is mine.
Each time I come here, Stan really ups the challenge.
It's like
But
an escape
still
room or
LeChuck
something?
0, Guybrush Threepwood 6.
The secret is mine.
Nice twist adding in Madison, Trent, and Lila. The team up had me fooled for a while.
The secret is mine.
Well, Back to my boring flooring inspector job. Until next time. What a stroke of luck. The locksmith had the key all along. That was disappointingly easy. I wonder what's going on. Well, back to my boring flooring inspector job. Until next time. Yeah, I should have suspected Stan's involvement the minute I saw how cheap and gaudy this is. Dagnabbit, it's locked. If only there was a key. It's Stan's keyring for turning off all the lights. Interesting. I found the secret of Monkey Island, and all it was this stupid t-shirt.
So are we mentally ill? Is that what's going on here?
They'll have fishing lures just like yours.
Can't talk to her.
Elaine, thank goodness you're here.
Of course. Where else would I be?
She's not my wife, she's my nurse.
I'm not sure where I am all of a sudden.
You're right here with me. But we shouldn't stick around too long.
I was just underground on Monkey Island, and now we're on Melee?
Things just go by in a blur sometimes when you're having fun, don't they?
How'd it go with Flair?
Let's just say I made my point.
How did you get here before me?
You know I always try to stay a step ahead.
Have you done something new with your hair?
I got ruffled in the fight.
I like it. I got the secret!
You finally did it! I hope it was worth it.
I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm gonna look around some more.
This is very weird. So it's connecting back to the ending of the second one where you were just a kid at a... it was like all in your head, you're a kid playing around at like a convenience theme park kind of thing. But then they sort of went against that at the beginning of this one.
The switch is locked.
Can't go in anywhere there. This is actually kind of sad. It's kind of reminding me of going to like the state fair at the end of the summer when things are starting to get cold already at night, and you know for kids back to school time's coming, winter's coming, summer's ending, but combined with like, are we mentally ill?
Historic landmark. The original secret, a pirate adventure park. Established 1989 by R. Gilbert.
So the game is just a theme park that the creator of the game made.
I'm ready to go.
Good. Me too.
That can't be the end, right?
Dad, that was a silly ending, and it didn't even make any sense. You're terrible at endings.
I thought you liked silly endings. You and Chucky play the ending of Monkey Island 2. Really silly.
That's different. We're kids, and we're just goofing around. You're the one who said he can't just change things. You said that's not how storytelling works.
I did?
I want to know the secret. You have to tell me what you really found in the chest.
So it's sort of, I'm just telling him something goofy because that's what I think he wants to hear. I mean, in a way, there's got to be like gold or something, or some kind of magical item, which is not an option.
The secret was really the friends we made along the way. Stories are mainly the middle part, after all, and that's where most of the good stuff is.
That sounds like one of those stupid grown-up answers.
True.
Mom, Dad won't tell me what the secret is.
Are you filling our son's head with your outlandish stories again?
I was telling him the one about how we found the secret of Monkey Island.
Oh, that one. Every time you tell that story, the ending gets stranger and stranger. Let's go down to the docks and watch the galleon head out.
Yay!
I found the lost map to the treasure of Maya Island. It's going to be a fun adventure.
I'll meet you down there.
Okay, I knew some people were not happy with the ending. I saw Yahtzee's zero punctuation on this, and he kind of implied that sort of like Ron Gilbert was sort of crapping on everything, like making you want to care about all this stuff, and then at the end it just sort of like makes fun of you or mocks you for caring, kind of, even though it was full of, you know, references to things from the past. I don't know that that's necessarily how I feel about it. I feel like there's a bit more kind of like a sad nostalgia. It's sort of, you know, he's older now, he's telling stories about his youth to his kid, he can't really do the adventures and things anymore, so he's making up kind of an outlandish story to his kid, but it's based on something that really happened. We just don't know exactly what really happened. So there is a real event that the story's based on. Yeah, I'm a bit iffy on it. It was kind of a weird, odd ending for the story to then jump into just telling the kid that, okay, I can buy that, so there was a real event. You're telling the kid something crazy, he's not going along with it, but then you won't really tell him what the ending is, and there really isn't I mean, you could just say there's gems and stuff, and I wonder if there's a different ending there. So at the end, you know, they're kind of, hey, there's something else we can do. He's still actually somewhat active, something he's interested in, whether it might just be researching it, not necessarily actually going after the treasure, and then just kind of enjoying the moment on the park bench, a nice day. You know, kind of has that sort of, you're getting older and feeling nostalgic and sad about the past, kind of, but you're still enjoying the moment you're in at the moment. You know, I can kind of understand that and feel that, especially being the age I am. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't feel like it's a big, like, spitting in your face, kind of like Yahtzee did. It's a lot more open to interpretation. But I think it definitely was. There was a real event that happened. Something really did happen. He really did find the secret of Monkey Island. It was something somewhat similar to what the story he was telling, but it could be quite different. And the ending was definitely totally different. Yeah, at this point, I'm just curious if there's anything at the end of the credits. But yeah, well, you could say something different at the end there to your kid. And I do kind of feel like it should have been something sort of magical. Because magic definitely exists in the stories and in the games. So that kind of makes sense. So just gems and gold, that's kind of boring. Closest thing, like, you did connect with people, make friends, do stuff. But I honestly feel like you got closer to, like, LeChuck's crew than anybody else in the game. I mean, Wally was there. Wally's always been a good character. But out of all the characters I really interacted with, the only ones I actually kind of sort of felt like I got close to were LeChuck's crew. Like, the other pirates were just trying to screw me over and try to get to the secret with LeChuck anyway, and, that kind of thing. So it wasn't really like we connected with them at all. We didn't really have a crew, although Murray was there, a little bit. And talking to random other people, we didn't really have a strong connection to anybody. It just sort of was like, hey, it's Stan from the old games, and then he's gone, and then it's the other guy in the jail cell from the old games, and it's gone. So Elaine's the only one that's really there, and it was more like, the way they handled Elaine was kind of like she was cleaning up after the messes he was making, which I didn't really like that approach to things. It's sort of minimizing everything that you're doing in the game as the character. The actions you're making are sort of just becoming like, oh, you stupid idiot, So I don't like how it sort of minimizes and denigrates what you're doing and the character of Guybrush. He was always just a very optimistic, happy-go-lucky kind of guy who was good at solving puzzles and very, very lucky and just kind of falling into the stuff and then saving people over and over again from the Ghost Pirate LeChuck. Yeah, we'll see if there's anything at the end of the credits here. I'm not sure how long it's going to go, but overall, I'd say it was decent, but the older games are better, at least the first three. I haven't played the fourth and fifth ones in a very long time. I replayed the first two on my Xbox 360 when they put out the redone versions probably 5-6 years ago. And then I did Curse of Monkey Island right before playing this. There was a nice sort of recap of all the different games at the beginning of this one, so that was kind of a nice thing to have. But I kind of feel like it's very obvious the people behind this are much older and sort of melancholy and sort of looking back on their lives and, being older now, and just kind of the setting of that, of like a much, much older Guybrush telling the story to his son and that kind of thing. And even when he was younger, people were still calling him, oh yeah, you're just the old pirate guy. Nobody cares about you anymore. That was kind of an odd sort of direction to take it, I think. Some people definitely kind of, I think, feel that way, but that's kind of cool. Some art on the back of a envelope there. Pets. It'd be like if they went back and did like a sequel to, say, Grim Fandango, and the main character was now like a grandfather and set in his ways and didn't care about anything, and the younger people trying to change stuff and he didn't like it, and he was basically like an entire game of him yelling, get off my lawn, kind of thing. That's sort of like the way it felt like at times. But they sort of got away from it for a bit. There were just some interesting puzzles. I think the puzzles overall were pretty decent. I like having the hints built into the game. That's a very nice addition. Most of the stuff I kind of figured out, but yeah, getting the fish eating contest, there were some good hints here and there. So like the thing about like, oh, I need to burp. I drank the other drink, it made me burp. I know I need the blowfish to go down for the shipwreck because there's a blowfish there in the water. So there's a lot of really good hints here and there in the game itself. But occasionally it's hard to find items. I did find those matches, which I just kind of stumbled across. If I hadn't found those, that would have been really irritating and frustrating, I think. But that kind of thing is always a problem in these kind of games, especially in the past before you could really look things up easily on the internet. I used to use game FAQs, or I'd say game facts, quite a lot for the old point-and-click adventure games and stuff if you got really stuck. But at one point, it wasn't like those were even hard to find, or people may not have the stuff written up to the point where you were at. You're trying to find, what you have to do next. So going back over the same stuff over and over and over again, and I remember Day of the Tentacle especially was the first one that I played of the LucasArts games, and just being horribly stuck at points in that because there were so many different times and different groups of people in different places, and you have to go to different times. I do have the redone version of that. I should play that again. And I loved Sam & Max. Sam & Max was a great game. And I have that as well, and I should probably play that again too, because I love that game so much. I like that one way more than Day of the Tentacle. And I never played Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders or something, but my mom did, and you can actually play it in Day of the Tentacle. So it's old enough that like my mom played it on our old computer, and then we got, I got Day of the Tentacle years later and played through that. But yeah, really, Day of the Tentacle, then Sam & Max, then Grim Fandango, such amazing games. And then I got into these games, the Monkey Island games, later. And there's everybody. Something new has been added to the scrapbook.
Hey, want to see my Mighty Pirate scrapbook? It's filled with my adventures.
So I wonder if this goes through this game now.
Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a mighty pirate.
Let's run through.
In the old days, you became a pirate by completing 3 trials to prove your worth. Things took an unexpected turn while I was working on the 3 trials.
Stan.
Monkey Island was a steaming volcanic mystery, covered with jungle and not found on any map.
Now we get more information on specific stuff too.
The monkey head opened with a special key that you stuck in its ear.
Maybe I should go back. I should go over everything.
Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a... In the old days, you became a pirate by completing 3 trials to prove your worth. Treasure hunting is important for any pirate. Treasure hunting is important for any pirate. Mastering sword fighting was more a matter of wits than agility. The test of thievery involved breaking into the governor's mansion. The security was heavy. This is when I met Elaine, the love of my life. She was governor at the time. Things took an unexpected turn while I was working on the 3 trials. Elaine was kidnapped and taken to Monkey Island by the nefarious ghost pirate LeChuck. I scraped together a crew. Carla, Otis, and Meathook joined me on my voyage to Monkey Island to save Elaine. LeChuck thought he was in love with Elaine. My first ship was the Sea Monkey. I bought it at Stan's used ships with a letter of credit that I, sort of falsified. My first ship was the Sea Monkey. I bought it at Stan's... Monkey Island was a steaming volcanic mystery, covered with jungle and not found on any map. You had to brew a special potion just to find Monkey Island. I made some substitutions, but it got us there just the same. You had to brew a special... There were some people living there who claimed to be cannibals, but I think it was just a show for the tourists. On the island was a gigantic monkey head statue with hidden catacombs underneath.
I remember this was the layout of the screen when the catacombs.
LeChuck's ghostly ship was anchored in a lake of lava hidden beneath the island's surface. I met an old castaway there, Herman Toothrot. He and the locals wrote a lot of indignant letters to each other. We wound up back on Melee Island for the stunning conclusion to my first big adventure. I made it to the church just in time to stop the wedding. Or so I thought. It turned out Elaine already had everything under control. How does she do that? By then, I had learned that ghosts like LeChuck are vulnerable to root beer. Just trust me, it works, okay? I defeated LeChuck and he basically exploded. It was the beginning of something magical. These are from the time I went to find the treasure of Big Whoop.
So this is the second one.
I met my good friend Wally, who makes maps, and I stole his monocle. Good times. The map to the treasure had been torn into 4 pieces, which, let's face it, is about as piratey as it gets.
Sure.
I met my good friend Wally. The mysterious voodoo lady at the International House of Mojo taught me to make a voodoo doll, which came in handy more than once. Elaine always seems to know when I need her. Again, it came down to just me and LeChuck at the end. He was using magic, but then, so was I.
A voodoo doll.
One time, Elaine got turned into a statue. Well, LeChuck was behind it, of course. That guy never gives up.
So this was the Curse of Monkey Island.
The fact that he turned her into a statue tells me LeChuck doesn't really love Elaine. He thinks of her as furniture. I erupted a volcano on purpose. There's not a lot I wouldn't do for Elaine. I got eaten by a snake. I got buried alive. It was around this time that I met Murray, the allegedly all-powerful demonic skull, after a rousing sea battle.
Oh no, I was thinking in the first one, the catacombs, I thought you had Murray, but it said it was like a necklace of eyeballs or something.
Things backfired on LeChuck because Elaine and I got married when it was all over. Game, set, matchmaker. This was a great day. Though in retrospect, we shouldn't have had the scum bar handle the catering. This is the daisy we stomped on together. Wedding traditions are weird. It's either Elaine's wedding veil or my handkerchief. We got them to match. Elaine and me together forever. The daggers are symbolic of cutting through troubles, I think. I wrote a great haiku for the wedding invitation. I don't know why you have to have candy-coated almonds at a wedding, but apparently you do. Oh man, this was that crazy time LeChuck teamed up with an Australian billionaire and tried to use a mystical talisman to make Elaine his bride.
Yeah, big mechanical one. I think this was the fourth one.
Everything started because they thought Elaine was dead, so they held an election to replace her.
Don't remember that.
The ultimate insult wasn't really ultimate, or even an insult at all. Or was it?
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar. It's been too long since I played the fourth and fifth one.
LeChuck and I battled it out on a grand scale that time. I made a goofy monster out of prosthetic body parts. It didn't help with anything, but I had fun doing it. Then there was the time I accidentally let loose LeChuck's pox over the entire Caribbean. Or so it seemed.
I don't even know if you can actually get versions of the fifth. I think the fourth one I can get through GOG. I'm not sure about the fifth one.
I had to wear a hook for a while. It came in handy. The death card doesn't usually represent literal physical death, except when it does. I went on trial for my life on 4 separate charges. I defended myself, of course. Love did win out in the end. Morgan Le Fay betrayed me, even after we bonded inside a giant manatee. I should have trusted her less. Elaine wasn't fooled by LeChuck's human form any more than I was. I should have trusted her more. Oh, here's that voodoo doll from the end of my Big Whoop adventure. I defeated LeChuck with this. His leg came off as easy as tearing a loaf of bread. These are from the time I found the secret of Monkey Island.
So this is from this game.
I started my voyage at the scum bar, but right away I could tell it wasn't going to be like old times. The new pirate leaders were focused on sacking and pillaging, but plunder stats aren't everything. In some quarters, my reputation was a disadvantage. I learned more than I ever wanted to know about mops.
True.
I made the unusual decision to join LeChuck's crew as a way to get to Monkey Island.
I think that was actually the best part of this game.
Serving on LeChuck's ship was an interesting experience. I grew to like the crew. I forgot all about looking like a zombie and starting a mutiny and seizing the ship. Gullet was my supervisor. Not a very pleasant guy. Putre was really happy when I got her promoted to chef. My disguise held up great, right up until we were nearing Monkey Island, when it, well, there was a failure. I got thrown off the ship, but that was okay. I'd gotten as far as I needed to. The actual return to Monkey Island was not what I expected. We all thought the secret would be on the island somewhere. Everybody had a map, some more useful than others. Elaine and I rebuilt my old ship, the Sea Monkey, so we could sail back to Melee.
I like that Band-Aid.
The temporary pact I made with my enemies turned out to be about 5 minutes more temporary than I had hoped. I learned some deeply personal things about my nemesis, LeChuck. It was a race to get to the secret first. I hunted down all 5 golden keys. I wonder if I was supposed to keep these. LeChuck teamed up with Madison, but that was never going to last. Madison was scheming to betray LeChuck. Lila was scheming to betray Madison and LeChuck. I'm not sure Trent ever thought very far ahead. Whitey Bones told me all about the golden keys. Elaine had a lot on her plate, but she was with me in the end. Carla handled earthquake relief as best she could under the circumstances. I broke Stan out of prison. Wally was kidnapped. The voodoo lady disappeared. I unseated the reigning queen to become the last queen of Bermuda. I visited Herman Toothrot in his cozy hermit cave. I managed to recover the secret, but then LeChuck stole it and took it back to Monkey Island to open it. We chased LeChuck back to Monkey Island again, and I tracked him down. Elaine held off Flair Gory while I went into the monkey. Someone had devised a series of themed pirate monkey puzzles to keep out the unworthy. I made this mock-up of the final puzzle. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, bit of a pain, but got there in the end.
I found Wally. Wait, what's this?
June 18th, 2020. Development won't start for another month or so, but we've been thinking about this for a while. It seems like a good time to jot down a few thoughts and then stash them away as a sort of time capsule message to our future selves about what we're setting out to do with Return to Monkey Island. Who knows, we might learn something. Monkey Island has historically been a reflection of the lives of the people who made the games. The Secret Monkey Island is about a young person setting out to pursue an exciting new career. As designers in our 20s, this is what we all were. The sequel, LeChuck's Revenge, was in many ways about the difficulty of making a sequel, or at least about what one does immediately after something that felt like a great success, but which went unnoticed by most of the world at large. Many years, 20, later, after Guybrush had gone on a couple of adventures with other teams who had their own hopes and challenges, we set out to make Tales of Monkey Island as a story about trust, and it is. But what jumps out most for us is that it feels like a story about grown-ups. I wouldn't say grown-ups, but more like people in their midlife, kind of. People who are grown up, as in, like, parents, at least in their 30s, if not 40s. Because that's what we were. Many of us in our 40s by then, with children and lives and a lumpy, encrusted layer of experience. We are well into our 50s now. We've had lengthy careers. We've made a lot of games, but Monkey Island still defines us to a certain degree, or at least in the minds of many. We are those guys who made that game a long time ago. And it feels like there's some unfinished business there. When the opportunity arose to come back to Monkey Island, we were pretty much on the same page as to what we wanted to do. Guybrush, like us, is older now, and he's had a long and reasonably successful career, but he's mostly associated with something that happened a long time ago, and that feels unfinished to him. The game is a goofy pirate adventure, the same as always, but also it's a story about trying to recapture the past with all its alleged youthful strength and glory. Guybrush will both succeed and fail at this. He will sort of get what he wants, but it won't be what he expected. I predict the same for us. Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate, kind of the way things ended up. Note to self, get more paper for the rest of my adventures. Yeah, I don't think Guybrush is done adventuring. Alright, well that's it for Return to Monkey Island. I hope that they would do some more stuff, or at least that maybe they would do some other games kind of like this. I don't know how successful Return to Monkey Island has been, but it was really nice to kind of hang out and do stuff with Guybrush again. I would like them to redo all of the old games. So they've gotten, the first two. The third one still actually looks quite good and is still playable. So that's fine, but the fourth and fifth one had kind of weird. It was under that shift to 3D very early on, and it was just kind of weird. So I think they could do a better job of maybe like redoing the fourth and fifth games, maybe, and putting them out, maybe even together. Would be kind of a nice thing to do. But they could also do sequels to this, and I think telling more stories about his adventures or related kinds of things. I think it's definitely something that could be done. But yeah, that's it for Return to Monkey Island. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming along on this trip with me. Hopefully I will see you all again in something else. Until then, have a good one.